Welcome back to the Truth Hurts, where we expose corrupt politicians, lying corporate media. I'm Jake Duesenberg, your host, broadcasting live from Roseville, Minnesota, in the belly of the beast, the liberal zombie apocalypse of Minneapolis and St. Paul. Boy, does that really resonate with people now more than ever. It's a zombie apocalypse here. Whistles flying all over the place, people shouting at ICE. You know, I watched a video this morning, and it looked like they were making a very lawful arrest of someone that looked pretty bad, and it's just like, that's what you risk doing, guys, like protesting these things. Not that you don't have a right to protest, but you are getting in the way of some of these people that are making very good arrests on very bad people. I hope ICE can keep their mission towards those people, and we could all be unified on that. That'd be the common sense thing here. Hopefully that's what comes of this Tim Walz and Donald Trump talk. Our sponsor today is Alpine Cabinetry in the great city of St. Cloud, Minnesota. If you want to interrupt me at any time during this conversation, if you're watching this live, you can go to Rumble, if you're on the Rumble channel, and you can hit a Rumble rant. They'll interrupt me at any time. It helps the show grow. Also, if you want to really help our show become a premium insider, you can go to truthhurtsnews.com, click on the support us, or if you're on Rumble, you can click on join us. Now, we are building a YouTube channel, and quite frankly, most people watch the show after the fact. So if you're on YouTube, just stay there. We're doing well. We're growing that channel. I think it's important. But I will say this, for a person that's been pretty censored on YouTube in the past, it's important to have other channels that we could put our message in front of. I don't think this one's going to get too censored. It's not about COVID. It's not about the shot. It's not about the election of 2020. What were the other things? Jan 6th, the things that they would censor you for, which, by the way, I don't know if I ever said anything that was incorrect, just not what the narrative was supposed to be. That's why they would censor you on YouTube. Obviously, X, now we're not getting censored. Razzle says, like the YouTube clips, Jake, way to grind to start 2026. Thank you. And I'm glad he recognizes it's a grind, because it's a lot of work. All right, I'm going to bring in my guest today. This is a very interesting show. I don't know anyone that's reported on this, and it seems to be kind of flying under the radar. Joining me is citizen journalist Dustin Lehrke, who's completely neutral, just has a regular old flag behind him.
Oh, what is that? Where'd that come from?
I'm triggered! How dare you? I'm so triggered by that flag.
Yeah, there's something on the stump.
Yeah. Yep. It's a beautiful flag. Everyone says it's a beautiful flag.
The greatest.
Well, it's a political statement. Let's start that.
It is.
Let's start that way. If people are not from Minnesota, that's a political statement these days.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Walz and Democrats, there wasn't a single Republican vote for this, decided we're going to change the Minnesota flag because somehow the flag behind you is racist. And the best I can tell, it's racism is that there is some dude in a field plowing the field, and you got a Indian on a horseback without a saddle, and I'm just like, I'd rather be the Indian. The Indian seems like he's in the better predicament here. But
right, yeah. And what's the harm? I was always taught, it just meant, we're ready to deal with threats, but that's not what we're doing. We're trying to live our lives, and historically, that was what was happening at the time. I don't see the racist now. Indians or Minnesotans or the ones here are just, Minnesotans just as much as me, right?
Well, it's like Land O'Lakes. They're offended that there was a female Indian on their label, so they removed the Indian from the land.
Yep. Yep. Kept the land, but got rid of the Indian. Classic.
Kept the Land O'Lakes, but not the Indian on it. Oh, geez, smart one. Where have we seen that one before? All right. All kidding aside, this is a story that kind of been putting together for about a month and a half. So just so people know, Dustin is actually someone that was a student of mine for the Minnesota permit to carry course. We call it concealed carry. I got the book back here, USCCA curriculum right here. This is a fantastic book if people are interested. USCCA, great organization. He went to go get his permit to carry. And I just realized this, and a lot of people that watch the show are not from Hennepin and Ramsey County. And quite frankly, a lot of us are just used to walking right into the sheriff's department. Mm-hmm. I'm in Washington County. You walk right in. Yeah. And there's the paperwork right there, and you can fill it out. If you haven't filled it out before, you submit it. It's a very simple transaction. 5 minutes? if even. And then you get, the sheriff has up to a month to review your application, and then once he determines that there's no reason forbidding you from carrying a firearm, he shall issue you that permit. That permit then is good for 5 years. And I think it's very important to talk about this because of the news story here in Minnesota with Alex Preddy being a lawful permit carry holder. You have the right to carry either concealed or open in public in the state of Minnesota as long as it's not one of the forbidden places. And of those are like churches and federal courthouses. Yep. So I'm sorry. Did I say churches? I meant to say schools. Sorry. You can carry churches. I meant to say schools.
Sure.
However, even that has caveats to it. If there's somebody that's in responsible authority figure, like a principal or a superintendent, you can be granted permission to carry inside of a school. So, there's other than those exceptions, and those are federal laws and state laws, because obviously the federal law pertains to the federal buildings. There's something called exclusivity. And so let me pull this up here real quick because we're going to get into it. And, I don't know if your interest is in the law, but, I swear to God, you and I have had more conversations about what
Are you telling me I should be a lawyer? You're going to be the first person in my life that said that. Yeah.
Well, it's just interesting. We've had a lot of these conversations, but here's what the law says. This is statute 624.714, and it's subdivision 24. I'm sorry, subdivision 23. Exclusivity. This section sets forth the complete and exclusive criteria and procedures for this issuance of permits to carry and establishes their nature and scope. No sheriff, police chief, government unit, government official, government employee, or other person or body acting under the color law or government authority may change, modify, or supplement these criteria or procedures or limit the exercise of a permit to carry. So from your understanding of the law, can a sheriff's department or a locality make up their own laws regarding guns?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I think the legal term is that's a promulgated rule, I think is the term. And it basically means they just came up with a rule that hasn't gone through the process and it's not legal, if it's outside of what's in the statute there.
Okay. And, this has obviously been a big story we covered on this show because St. Paul declared that assault rifles are banned inside the city, and that law has no effect at all. I don't have any word that it's been tried to be enforced by city cops, but it's essentially was a joke because the exclusivity law that you see right there in 624.74. And before I get into your video, I do want to cover in subdivision 3. It actually talks about the application process, and it states, in section G, applications must be submitted in person. It talks about the application processing fee, $100, up to $100, by the way. And then
max there, coincidentally.
Yep. And then upon receipt of an application pack and any required fee, the sheriff must provide a signed receipt indicating the date of submission. You can go read subdivision E for yourself, but where this story came up is here's Ramsey County, and I just don't have a lot of students in Ramsey County, so you're the first that has brought this up to me. But this is if you go to their website, the permit to carry application process. We're doing this live right now. It says schedule an appointment. So they're it says all appointments must be made online. If you have any questions, you can call us. Okay. So permit to carry applications are accepted by appointment only. Does law say that they can require appointment only?
The law does not say that anywhere. I mean, like you said, I'm the pretend lawyer kind of, and I have done a little bit of research. I do think there's maybe a little bit of a degree of what do they call it? Sort of like time, manner, place regulation that they could do. So, maybe an appointment of just let us know you're coming kind of thing. That might be legal, but no, there's nothing in the 624.714 that says anything about appointments.
Okay, and obviously the idea behind Minnesota permit to carry is as long as you're a legal citizen, you do have a law-abiding citizen, okay, because that's how they forbid you from having one is you've committed
Right.
some kind of act, felony act, violent act, or drugs and stuff like that, or you're not a citizen. So unless you're in that category, you have that right to keep and bear arms. It's pretty. I personally believe you have that right that exists even beyond a permit to carry system. I'm just
Right.
telling people what Minnesota laws. A lot of states are going to constitutional carry.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to expose one of the problems with the permit to carry system right here.
Yep.
So the kind of idea behind the law is people have this right, and quite frankly, there should be no government entity forbidding it. The sheriff has up to 30 days to do the investigation and then shall issue. But what I see here is when you go to the website, Ramsey County, and you click on schedule an appointment, permit to carry a handgun, and you can see right here, and it's already changed, Dustin.
Oh, is it?
I'm going to call you Derek. I know you, some of your brothers. I was in Iraq
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Brother Hans.
Yep.
Right here, you can see, and today is January 27th, 2026. It says there are no openings for the week of January 25th. Next opening is Monday, March 16th. Now, what's fascinating, Dustin, is we were just looking at this earlier. Wasn't it March 6th or March 12th?
I had been told like March 11th, but didn't you have something from like February?
No, I didn't have anything in February. I took a screenshot.
Maybe I misheard. I thought you said they were a week out now.
No, that was Hennepin. I went and looked at Hennepin. Yeah, you could.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so you could Google Hennepin County, and then it's next week, and then there's like a whole list of things. So somehow Ramsey is losing to Hennepin County.
Yeah, absurd. Yeah. So March 11th.
Oh, here we go. This is I saved it. So it was March 12th when I did this just an hour ago.
Okay, so yeah.
So it's already changing within an hour to 4 days later.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because I mean, like everyone's. So that's the thing is people are continuing to go to renew their permit or get their permit, and they're finding out that there's this wait. So it kind of feels like it's just like going to be a month and then it's going to clear up, but it's not clearing up. It's actually getting longer. When I first tried to do it here at the beginning of December, it was less than a month. So it's an issue that's growing and growing.
Okay, so I got Lisa here. Says no issues in Scott County. Renew no appointments. I stopped by and had my paperwork processed. Very courteous. Received permit within 2 weeks. So same as Washington County. I know this happens in Dakota County. I have Dakota County and Anoka County people. A lot of students from there. And usually with most are getting them within a week.
Yeah, is Hennepin requiring appointments or is it optional?
Yes, Hennepin is doing the same thing.
Okay, so we got to get on them.
Well, and this is what I hope to accomplish here from this video is, 1 second, Hennepin County permit to carry.
I know Olmsted is also playing this game.
Okay, that's interesting because, that's a rural. It's a rural.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I mean.
Semi-rural.
Mayo down there. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so permit to carry handgun. This is Hennepin County. And then requirements for where to apply. And it says apply for a new permit, and you can see it says in-person appointment required. Okay. Once again, I think this is problematic, but when you do, and then there's obviously you could do it in Plymouth or in Minneapolis, and we just go to Minneapolis using the same kind of service as Hennepin or Ramsey.
Yeah.
There are no openings for January. Next opening is Monday, February 2nd, and then once you click on that, they got a wide open schedule.
Okay, yeah.
This is Hennepin County for people that understand. Like this is like the most anti-gun county in Minnesota. This is where Minneapolis.
Right. Okay, and I know Washington. They say like they take appointments, but they're not required. So no harm, no foul. I guess.
Okay, so this came on my radar about a month ago because you took your certificate and you went to go get your permit, and you reached out to me and you said, Jake, they're requiring a permit, and I can't get it for like a month.
Yeah. Well, so what's really lit the fire under me here is that 5 years ago during COVID, I had the same issue, and we actually had done our training quite a bit ahead. And so if people know, you need to have training when at the time that you renew or get your permit, it has to be done within a year of that time. Mm-hmm. And so I went to renew in, I believe it was September, and they were telling me I had no option to get in until the next year, which is going to mean I was going to have to do training over again. I had to pay the full fee because I couldn't renew. I would need a new permit because my permit would lapse. And just, being demoralized with everything with COVID, et cetera, okay, we're doing some things that are different now, falling for some of that. I was a little bit of a squeaky wheel. They found me an appointment that was like a month out or something. It put me in the point where I had to pay for the late permit fee. So my wife and I, it was $20. They didn't think that there was anything they had to do about that. So I just paid the $20. But then we went to renew 5 years later, and they're still playing this game.
Right.
So yeah, that's when I reached out to you. And then if you want me to keep going,
well, let's get to your video.
Yep.
Okay, so you recorded a video, not of you doing it. Is it okay to explain where you found this gentleman?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think it. Sure. Yeah, that's fine. I made a Reddit post. Just kind of describing the situation, letting people know, hey, this is going on for two reasons. Like, one, if people just want to get their permit, no reasonable person is going to expect that there's a month plus wait. So that might be important for people to know. And then second, if there's people that kind of wanted to flex some rights or show some anger, agitation about the situation, then they could be made aware. So yeah, and I put, my experience, which I don't know if you want me to just jump ahead, but sure. My wife and I were able to, we went in, kind of again, made us stink there. We were able to get ours processed. So when we got our permits, I let people know, hey, I was able to go in, get it done. I recommend you do the same thing. And if you're a little timid about it, give me a call and I'll come on with, and I'll try to help hold your hand as best I can. So yeah, this guy had reached out to me. And that's what we were doing.
And you fed the story to us a month ago, and I think we were going to do a write up on it. And then when you sent me this video today, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Once again, we could try steel manning the sheriff's department on this.
Sure.
I'm not doing this to try to go after Bob Fletcher, go after the sheriff's department. You'll even see a sheriff's deputy that seems like a really good dude that was very helpful in this video. But it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
You should not be putting barriers up for people's right to keep and bear arms, right?
Exactly. Yep.
And I might try to steel man it, but I'm just thinking through this process. Like the steel man argument would be, we are overwhelmed. I think they said that too there. We're overwhelmed with appointments, and you're going to see how that kind of seems like a joke in this video. We're overwhelmed with appointments, and that's why we need to do an appointment process. I'm just thinking, say you have to hire somebody to do nothing but permit applications, at $100 a pop, I'm pretty certain you can hire someone full time. I mean, that's a lot of dough. If you're overwhelmed, that's a lot of dough coming into the sheriff's department. You can't tell me they're in for that much in cost. This actually seems like it'd be a moneymaker for the sheriff's department.
Right. And two issues adjacent to that are the legislators kind of foresaw that. And so they built into the law two things. One of them is that the sheriff can contract with police departments to run these checks, if presumably if they're getting behind. And secondly, they built in a 30-day statutory limit where if the permit is not already issued or denied within that 30 days, it's considered as issued.
Yes.
So clearly the legislators thought, okay, there's a timeline here and there's an issue specifically with the processing and how long we want them to have to get that done. And they built that into the law. And this appointment is clearly like a game to try to get around that timeline that was very, obviously built in for that reason.
Right. Well, and that kind of sounds like it's nefarious when you say game. I'm trying to steel man it the best I can.
Okay. I'm sorry.
But I am. I'm trying to steel man it. And I wanted to put the story out because we got a video and and I wanted to document the website as it is. I will reach out to Ramsey County to get their statement. I'll share that.
They're doing their best to regulate it, possibly with the manpower. Because although there's no one there taking the permits, there is time behind the scenes to get the stuff done.
Sure. But you have to do this because we have to opt on the side of people's right to keep and bear arms. So that's why I want to bring attention to. So let's get
100%.
Let's get to this video. Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So you're walking in here.
We're going to the sheriff's office.
Okay. Now explain who are you encountering here?
So this is private security there. I don't know names, but yeah, they have private security right there at the front. My understanding, again, from some legal limited, research, there is like ability, whether it's constitutional or not, or they do have the right to kind of check you, obviously, for weapons, and I think they can even to some degree like check for appointments and whatnot. But this is just a private, security that has been hired by the county.
Okay.
We have business with the sheriff's office. Yeah, it's okay, and we can deal with that with them. So how do you need us to pass through for security here?
I'm trying to determine if it's appointment needed or.
I'm sorry. What is your role here?
Access control for the building.
Okay, this is a public building, though, correct?
Yeah, but it's also a screening area.
Okay.
Whereas basically they do conduct business.
Okay, I'm a public citizen. Are you a public citizen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're public citizens. We'd like access to the public building, and we have business
And
with the
I
sheriff.
understand that.
Okay.
But like I said, they do certain things by appointment only. That's why.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. Okay, so we have documents for the sheriff. Okay.
And set up an appointment.
No, we have business with the sheriff today.
Is it for permanent carry?
We have business with the sheriff today.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to stop right there. And so one of the problems I see with that is this is a guy who's controlling access, meaning I would imagine security, right? Not access of. Do you have a legitimate purpose with the sheriff? Like, what if you're there for like some personal matter? Like, who are you to ask these questions? You have the right. Don't you have a right in this country to go petition your government to redress your grievances? Like, isn't this a fundamental right here?
Yeah. One would think, or like I said, can I come in just see what kind of carpet they have upstairs? Where are my tax dollars going?
Exactly.
I mean, they, and they can have restricted areas, behind there or whatever. But yeah, and the other thing is, this guy knows like everything that can be done in this law enforcement center, basically, or everything that can be done with the sheriff, and he's gonna pick out whether or not you can come through or not. And that's one of the things where I have difficulty steel manning for them here, because it seems nefarious that this guy has been so specifically trained to hound in on, are they here for that permit? Are they trying to carry that, use their Second Amendment right? Are they one of those?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Okay, so let's go. Let's continue on this video here.
We're dropping off documents with the sheriff today. We're dropping off. Are you going to deny citizens the right to drop off documents with the sheriff? I'm not. Okay, sir. I'm not very interested in working with you beyond whatever you need as far as security to get us into the building, because we.
By the way, you're really good at this, Dustin.
To this public. Okay, if you understand, then
basically they need you to call and set up an appointment through. Then I'm going to direct you at these numbers to call and make an appointment.
That's frankly, that's none of your business. Are you a sworn officer?
As far as it goes.
Are you a sworn?
If you're here for the sheriff's
Are you a sworn officer, sir?
If you're here for the sheriff's office, I'm going to have you call.
How would you need us to go through here?
I'm going to have you guys call this number and talk to them about it.
We're here as public citizens. We get access to this.
Yeah, but he's also
public
got
building.
A permit to carry, basically. Form.
I'm sorry?
He's also holding a permit to carry form, right?
It doesn't matter.
So if it's for permit to carry, they do it by appointment only.
It does not matter. We have business with the sheriff's office.
I'm going to direct you to call this number right now.
We have documents to drop off at the sheriff.
Yeah, but is it a civil document where you need to serve some people?
Oh.
Or
well, right now, I'm gonna be filing.
Maybe want to pause.
I'll complain at the sheriff's office.
By all means, call this number and talk to them.
The sheriff is right here, correct?
Yeah, that's the number for the sheriff's office.
Okay, so I'll just go in there then, correct?
Unfortunately, I'd have to have you.
Okay, now before this very kind sheriff's deputy, who I think did a fantastic job, so obviously we're not here to just shit on Bob Fletcher's office. I'm just so confused. Like, you're a citizen. a taxpaying citizen of Ramsey County, and this guy seems to control access of citizens to a government building. That seems to be what it is. You're not carrying a firearm into the building,
which would be legal. You know, you could do that.
Yeah, technically, yeah. There wouldn't be anything forbidding a county house. You know, if it's a courthouse, you have to notify the sheriff per law.
Yeah.
They like that one too. Everyone's always shocked by that one in class.
Yeah. So if I can jump in, and I'll let you do the straw manning maybe for them, you know, because you know I'm on this side. But so two things to know if you know aren't familiar with Ramsey County, the main sheriff's office there. You can see on the right side, just beyond where we are, about 20 feet is the sheriff's office. So you know exactly right back. That is there's one little glass wall with doors, and that's the sheriff's office. So he wants me to call, instead of taking 3 seconds of a walk over there. And I don't know if you want to get into this now or not, but basically the way the law works is you need to submit your packet. And so someone, in my opinion, again, we can try to straw man, maybe there's some other kind of incompetence argument or maybe something reasonable I haven't thought of, I guess. But basically, it's very important to them that you do not get to that window, because if you get to that window, you can just put your packet in. And now, is that submitted or not? I would argue yes, but they need to have that private security stop you so that you can't get into the sheriff's office.
Well, you need to submit it with the appropriate
in
amount.
person.
So it's in person, it says, and this is subdivision 3. And then upon receipt of an application packet, any required fee, the sheriff must provide a signed receipt indicating the date of submission.
Yeah, which I don't know if you want to get into that, or if you wanted to talk about today or not. But
so when I look at this video, you get this gentleman coming up, sheriff's deputy. Was it the commotion up front that brought his attention over there? Do you think he came from the back to come see it? What happened there?
He made mention of me interrupting his lunch hour, and again, like you said, he was very nice. He was great on that day. But I think it's entirely possible that that was both a joke and a statement of fact that he was going to lunch. And the exit's there as well. So if I remember correctly, I was kind of picking up movement, so I think he might have been hanging back for a minute just to kind of see how it was going.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's good. Someone of actual authority comes over, so let's show him. And I think he kind of conducts himself as a true professional here.
Hi, how you doing? Phil, I'm sorry. Phil, nice to meet you. What's going on? We have business with the sheriff's office, and we would like to get to the sheriff's office so that we can perform that business.
What business would you have with the sheriff's office?
He has some documents to drop off, and I would like to make a complaint.
Okay, what are the documents you have to drop off so I can direct you in the right spot?
It's a good question.
Permit to carry application.
Okay. All right. So you just need to apply for a permit to carry, correct?
Which he would have to call and set up.
We just need to. He just needs to drop his papers off. He just needs to submit papers.
Okay, so that is a really interesting interaction there too. By the way, just this guy's so.
Someone told him it's important, Jake. Yeah. Someone said this is important.
And this deputy is kind of like, it almost seems like he's like, yeah, the sheriff's office is right over there. Like, what?
Yeah. My takeaway from the interaction was it seemed like the sheriff sergeant had no understanding that there was any of this, wait, appointment, etc. going on. I think he just, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Like every other county. Except for
yeah. Why would this be a problem?
It doesn't matter. It's not up to you.
Here, you mind if I take a look? All right.
And I'm just gonna fast forward here.
Sure.
Another.
Sorry, is your name again? Dustin with a D. Yeah. I grew up as Justin since no one knew the name. But
by the way, it looks like from that angle you're about to tip him. I'm just gonna fast forward through here.
Yeah.
We obviously lose audio and visual there.
Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah.
So he's just taking you in. Okay, so this is then the the processing, and right there's a window for gun permits.
Yep, and the whole time we've been here, no one has come in and out. The gentleman there with the guard, maybe you could tell us, it probably doesn't matter, but I think he was probably already in there. So there's been one person this whole time.
It looked like he went in through security as you were, dealing with that stuff. And
Okay, yeah.
maybe you didn't see him, Dustin, because he was wearing camo. I almost called you by your brother's name, Hans.
That's fine.
Hans would appreciate that joke.
Sure.
So anyhow, yeah, you can clearly see the gun permit counter there.
Yep.
And you don't see any workers. And so, and I'm just going to kind of fast forward because it takes a while for even a worker to show up.
Right. It's not the time of the actual submission, but yeah.
And then it looks like this.
Well, he's discussing with them too in the back there. So he's kind of going over, what are we doing here? What's the play?
So he's actually got access, or he's going through the window.
Yeah. 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 He went back there on the left side. There's a window.
Gotcha.
Or sorry, a door that he goes. Yeah.
Okay. And then this gentleman, and then here he is.
Yeah, and I was trying not to be a jerk with the camera. Some people don't like their face, but so and everyone knew it was just right on my chest. But I just said, I'm just trying to get the audio.
He just needs to submit the document. You guys require additional things that are not in the law, like you like to have a sign out here in front of you, etc. Which he can do that stuff. Otherwise, he can just sign it, and if he has to kind of like toss it through the window or whatever. Basically, the law is he just needs to submit the paperwork in person.
Yep, I'm familiar.
Okay. So an appointment's not legally permissible under the statute.
Well, we go by appointments because we're so fully booked.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is. There it is.
I mean, you like literally, and I'm not trying to. I don't know this person, and I don't know if she's trying to be, that gal, but like, you're so booked, and we're literally looking at like your processing area. And you said you went today. You had another gentleman. The video's not available.
Yeah, there's two citizens that I went with today. But yeah, just
no one in this area.
Yeah, they're trying to think now. And there's video for that. But I think one guy went in and out while we were there, but we were there for 30 minutes this time. But jumping back on what you said, we're fully booked.
Yeah. So
there's some set amount of permits that the state has. Because remember, like for me, it was more than the 3 months out. So like if you need to do a renewal, you can only renew up to 90 days early, right. and you need the 30 days. So really, it's 60 days because they can you won't be able to carry if you don't get it done with the 30 days, if I'm making myself clear.
We should emphasize here that one of the problems is people, either new permit issuees, or people that are renewing and don't realize this and can't get an appointment in that gap, literally are going to be prohibited from their legal right to keep and bear arms. That's where we're
right.
really at stake here. So I'm going to play this once again. She says we are fully booked, and then let's just go look at the counter. I'm wondering if it's updated and you can't. It's even further out than before.
Sure, but I just have to say this, Jake. We're all out of carry permits here in Ramsey County, fresh out. Can't find anything back for you.
Right, Ramsey County, popular 2A county, right?
Yep.
The law is he just needs to submit the paperwork in person.
Yep, I'm familiar.
Okay. So an appointment's not legally permissible under the statute.
Well, we go by appointments because we're so fully booked.
Yeah,
and there she says it, and we're so fully booked. Now I'm just very curious. We're just going to do this again. So before in the show, what we did is we showed when you go to their website, it said the next opening is Monday, March 16th. I'm just going to back out. Let's go back here. Schedule an appointment. Let's see if that's actually gotten worse.
Sure. I just as we're sitting here, and if I can,
it is still March 16th, okay. And even then, and then look. So look, it shows all these times for March 16th. You can't tell me that these times are just getting filled up that quickly. That's just ridiculous.
You would wonder. But I think if I'm right, they're spaced out 15 minutes. So they're saying we can take one customer every 15 minutes. And I think with all the nonsense of my video arguing up front, etc., I think the video itself is like 15 minutes, and that has to be the most problem case, I guess. One other thing just to mention in case we don't get back to it is on the website where you make that appointment, There is no verification of your email, anything. So anyone could go on there, put in Mickey Mouse. I'm going to be there, whatever time, every single appointment from now until you're booked. And they could block that whole thing up if you're like anti-2A or whatever else.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's actually something that's happened in the hunting community. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but like anti-hunters that like don't want bear hunts, they'll like try applying for bear permits, and then they'll take up the permit, the tag,
okay.
and no one's actually out there hunting for them, right?
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So interesting.
No, the interesting thing about this is if that's the case here, then Ramsey County's Sheriff's Department's either incompetent, which I'm guessing that's not going to be the case. Because if that was happening, they would catch on, right?
Like, maybe. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I'm suspecting that's happening.
No one's showing up. I mean, how long would it take to realize that's the shtick, right? And then you look at these emails and so it's like I can't imagine that's what's going on here.
I might take an hour or two here over the next couple of days to go in there and read a book or something, do some journalism just on that specifically. Like, are people coming in every 15 minutes or not? What is happening? Because they're booked up, so there should be every 15 minutes someone, presumably.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
And I mean, just the evidence from this video, and then I haven't seen your new video, but saying that essentially there are not people coming there every 15 minutes. Like, that's a ridiculous statement.
Yep.
And once again, for people maybe that are just tuning in now, like, what's at stake here is people's right to keep and bear arms, because in Minnesota, and this is a big issue because of the killing of Alex Preddy, he was a lawful permit to carry holder in the state of Minnesota, which now we have liberals making sure we understand that, which is great. It's great. Yeah. By the way, also got to mention Alex Preddy had a Glock P320. Got a capacity over 10 rounds. I thought we were against high capacity magazines. So there you go.
If I can offer something here for discussion, and maybe you can correct me. Maybe I'm wrong on this, because I'm sort of just recently getting more into like what the law is and a little more active on this. But my understanding is Minnesota, since we sort of jumped the gun, or we're surprisingly one of the earlier states to pass our carry laws, and we had a couple because there was like a snafu. I believe it was kind of written under the understanding that you don't necessarily have a right. There was a different interpretation of the Second Amendment at that time. So some of this might be like vestigial to that, versus there's been more recent rulings like for California and Hawaii, where basically they had essentially no carry permit scheme, and the Supreme Court said no, the Second Amendment applies to this type of stuff, and if you have no regulation of carrying where people can kind of somewhat easily get that permit, then you're just going to be an open carry state. So I don't know if that's accurate for when this law was written or not.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're kind of in this no man's land since as we kind of admitted, there's no direct mention of how the application process goes other than what we mentioned before. If I was a lawyer arguing in front of court, I think I would make that argument that they have a Second Amendment protected right to keep and bear arms.
Yeah.
And you're infringing on that by creating a process that's basically an obstacle to exercise that right. It's not like you have the right to keep and bear arms in 2 months when an appointment's available. It's not like that's what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just my understanding is that like a lot of the precedent that would help you that would make that argument you could point to that have been decided was decided in the courts since our legislation went through. For instance, and maybe I'm wandering off topic here a little bit, but we discussed the other day, like, when is an officer able to stop you if you're carrying a permit? And our law is sort of ambiguous, but there actually is case law in Minnesota that basically says, because it is generally a crime to carry a firearm, the permit just provides an exception. And so in that case, an officer can stop you if they see you with a handgun, and that itself is a legal reason to stop you. And in many other states, again, they've had more recent rulings, but generally it's something to the effect of, if a firearm is being legally carried, you can't stop them.
Well, maybe an argument for why you should conceal, right? Which is in
Sure.
Minnesota, so people understand, you can either open carry or concealed carry with the Minnesota permit to carry, which is good for 5 years. So this is another falsehood that I've heard is that you can once you encounter law enforcement, you have to tell them that you are
Right.
carrying a firearm or you have a permit to carry. And you do not need to do that. That is not part of the law. I know that was taught back in the early days of the permit to carry system. It is not the law at all. But if there is a lawful request or question by law enforcement, then you do need to ask, which is kind of goofy because it's in the Minnesota driver's license system anyhow. So they would know if it's like a traffic stop.
Right. Yep.
So
hey, that's a minutia, I guess, but
this is, I think, actually a great conversation because one of the things I see going around the center right circles is Alex Preddy didn't have an ID on him. And yes, you are required by the law to carry your permit to carry and your ID. Those usually go hand to hand in a wallet or purse, right?
Yep.
But it's not a crime. It's a petty misdemeanor. And it's a $25 fine, which needs to go away as long as you can provide the arresting officer or the courts your permit to carry. So it's like a slap on the wrist. I've gotten my car before on accident and forgot my wallet. And I always thought, oh, geez, if I got pulled over, I would imagine the cop would go, it happens to me too. You forgot your wallet. Maybe I was even driving back to my house because I forgot my wallet, right?
Right.
Like, is there some big harm to society that's occurred? No, obviously not, right? So that's such a dumb argument when it comes to people. And I've heard the federal people, like, what was it like? I've heard this from like maybe Christy Nome, maybe Cash.
I think Cash said something. I'm guessing is where you're going. Yeah.
What a terrible talking point that is. So it's a petty misdemeanor.
I think I've heard that quote. I think actually the Libertarian Party here in Minnesota. I think they put up a false quote. He did say something that wasn't great or whatever, but I've seen a quote that he said it's illegal, which as far as I know, is not what he said. He just said something kind of like, you don't do that, and you shouldn't go hands on or whatever, which, I mean, I guess that's true, but I also don't like the way that it was phrased,
Yeah. Well, and people that go, well, what, you showed up to a protest with a gun. I'm like, well, that happens on the right all the time, just, Yeah. And he's in Minneapolis. Like,
right.
A lot of us, when we go to, I'm trying to think of an example. When we go to Pine City, Minnesota, we don't think about carrying, but when you go to Minneapolis, it's a different story. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. You got your armor, you got your backpack with, absolutely.
Knife River. I'm always carrying when I'm in Knife River, Minnesota. I mean, like,
right. Yeah, I mean, it would be
Minnesota. That's a rough spot. I got to carry, but Minneapolis, I don't need to carry. Like, come on, guys.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. But on the same token, when I am carrying, if I'm around, police or whatever, I want to take maybe I wouldn't go hands on with an officer, I guess.
You're right. Yeah. It's an unfortunate situation, and the more I diagnose that video, I think he was putting himself in a bad situation. He was in the middle of the road at some point. I know he's documenting. He's got that right, but you shouldn't go in the middle of the road. The way that I looked at it is he was trying to help a woman who got pushed down by an ICE agent, and then they sprayed him right in the face. And I've been sprayed in the face through military training. I'll just put it this way. All bets are off once that happens. The reason I got sprayed is we used non-lethal in Kosovo, so it was before a Kosovo deployment. And the whole point was so we would know how to operate with that, because you need to know it. And most people haven't gone through that training. And so, they're like, he's resisting arrest. He has no idea who's grabbing. You can even see him like grabbing onto that woman, like pulling her to the ground. It's like, because he has no idea. He's now in a world of hurt, doesn't have his sinuses, all that kind of stuff. So in my opinion, it's just it's a tragic situation there.
Exactly.
And this is where, I fall right in line with people on the right is, well, this is being encouraged by Democrat politicians. It's not helping the case at all.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I was going to say is that's what makes it tragic. And, you already said it.
Right. Now, with that being said, you shouldn't shoot a guy in the freaking back. That one, I really need to see an investigation and how it got to that point. Because it looks very bad.
There is one angle that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about where there is someone yelling pretty emphatically, gun, gun, gun. And I thought about trying to clear up the audio and try to get that on Twitter, because as of yet, I haven't seen anyone. And I didn't even hear it until one time I had like headphones on and I was listening to it, and I was like, oh, wow, that completely changed. Because I actually was coming down. I thought it was an accidental or negligent discharge from that. I thought he was lined up.
That's all the Sig Sauer haters.
Yeah. I
That's my
carry
read
a
on that
P320
one.
a lot,
All
so
the Sig Sauer.
yeah,
I've seen the videos. I just can't buy into
yeah,
that. Sig is.
yeah.
Now listen, and you.
I didn't think it was that. Yeah,
You know this because you shot with me. I am.
yeah,
I like a lot of different firearm companies. Like you
yeah,
get the purist. I love Glocks. I love Sig Sauers. I love my Beretta. I mean, I love
yep,
a bunch of different firearms. So I'm not like a hater on a certain firearm,
right,
but Sig makes fantastic firearms. I mean, the one he's
yep,
using, P320, is what the Army bought now. They're standard issue. The reason I had a
yep.
Beretta was it was the M9. Now they got the M17, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a fantastic
It's like a
firearm.
320. Yep.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fantastic firearm, right?
Yeah. I like them.
I have a carry Sig. I mean, they are
Yeah.
fantastic firearms. So I just think like I don't know if I buy that kind of stuff, but
No,
Sig Sauer
no,
needs to
and
fight
that's
some people over this.
yeah, no, that's not what I meant. I just, like, I think there's always a possibility. Everyone's a human, so it would have been more of like a, he was already so close to shooting this guy that he just squeezed, like he wasn't, because if you look at the video, it kind of looks like maybe his finger goes from like a good disciplined position to
Wait, I'm
more.
sorry. Who are you saying did the accidental discharge?
So I'm aware of the where it sort of looks like the officer that disarmed him with his 320, and I do not think that I see a discharge there. The officer that actually ends up shooting him, when I was going through it, I actually thought potentially the first shot was him shooting Alex, but that it was just like a premature discharge, maybe is a better term.
Okay,
But
yeah, I had heard that,
yeah,
like this old trope that 6 hours, like with pressure.
right.
Firearm.
Which he might have had a 320. I don't think we know what his weapon was. And ice.
Oh, that's a piece.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't think it was that. But again, if you go through and you find, and maybe I'll get it to you and you can do it. But if you find that angle, you can hear, and it's just right before he shoots. It's gun, 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 gun. So like someone is yelling emphatically gun.
Well, I've never been law enforcement, but obviously being an infantry officer, put in predicaments like that overseas.
Yeah.
I just can't see engaging a target in the back like that. And then, what really kills us is then he's on the ground laying there shot and they continue firing. They back up and fire. It looks awful.
It looks awful.
And I really
100%.
hope people on the right can just look at that and agree with it, because it just looks terrible. And this is someone that's supportive of, ICE's operations to remove illegals, especially hardened criminals in our community, right? But like, doing that, and that hurts your mission by doing that.
I mean, I do agree with you. Those are all things that like add to the tragic circumstance. But I will also say, we literally have the opposite angle from what that officer has, and you can see Alex kind of reaching, and he, sadly enough, he might just be reaching like, I'm shot, trying to put pressure on it. We know he was a nurse.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but to that other officer, if you stop and you think about it, it kind of looks like maybe he is going for something there, And I mean, I don't know. Like, there's just so much that happens in a situation like that. I guess at that point, I'm like, let's see what happens. Are there any body cams, that kind of thing?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, and I think obviously once again people on both sides are making fools of themselves.
Right.
People on the right trying to make this guy out to be such a terrible person, and he's like a ICU nurse at a VA. It's like, thank you for your serving our veterans.
Yeah, I mean,
but
as they say,
you can't impede law enforcement. Like the left is,
right.
And you definitely can't start rioting. I don't think he was doing that, but like. It doesn't justify anything by these wackos, which is why I'm so happy that Trump and Walz are talking, because like that gives me hope cooler heads will prevail. Yep.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen. I mean, like, what are we doing here? Who's winning from this?
Mm-hmm. Well, to put a bow on this, he ends up getting this permit to carry, this gentleman, in the video.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or, sorry, submitting his application, I should say.
Yeah, it seems, as far as they have 30 days, but it's they basically kind of accept that they're gonna take it. There is, I don't know if you're playing any more of it, but there's just sort of a funny moment because she said, "Oh, I'm very I'm familiar with the law, whatever," and I even tell him, I say, "Hey, they're gonna come back and they're gonna give you a receipt and it's not gonna be signed." And the law says it needs to be signed, and
really?
just just wham bam, that's how it goes. Which not a big deal, but I thought you were familiar with the law. Why? And there's a number of things they do that don't fit the law that are kind of harmless, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to go through because I thought it was somewhat uneventful, but yeah, just if I fast
That's
forward.
I mean, it's not really that interesting, but that is what happens.
Yeah, and eventually the process worked, the way you guys did it.
For this one, to be continued. Yeah.
Okay, and the one today, they were successful or not?
The one today we're gonna have to see. It ended up because the law requires a submission of a completed packet and payment. And so basically that ended up getting slid through the window. The sheriff who was standing there when these two people in person in the sheriff's office, as statutorily required, were submitting the paperwork, he said that he would not provide a receipt.
Really?
Yep.
And you got that on video?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
To be continued.
Yep. And and like you read the exclusivity clause or subdivision for the carry permit, and specifically we'll just kind of cut it up. No sheriff may change, modify, or supplement these criteria or procedures. And multiple times as we were discussing, he was saying we have a either procedure or process to make these appointments. And whenever he said that, because I wasn't sure, I'm kind of dumb, I was homeschooled, so I didn't remember if the word was procedure or process. So if he said that was our process, I would say, so you're telling me your procedure is that you're requiring an appointment? And he would say, yep. And I think he would even use that second word. So I think 2 times he said, our procedure is to require appointments, which I'm not a lawyer. Who knows? Maybe there's some precedent I'm missing, but it seems very clear in the law there that that's absolutely prohibited.
Well, it just seems like, hey, the citizens of Ramsey County have a right to keep and bear arms. There's a permit system. You're creating an obstacle for these people to actually legally carry, at least according to the letter of the law in Minnesota. And you need to do better, sheriff's office. I mean, I do think there's probably a lawyer that could look at this and go, hey, this is not kosher. Before I let you go, Dustin, let's just out of curiosity, let's go back to Ramsey County and schedule an appointment, and let's see if it's changed here.
All right.
Okay, still saying March 16th, it looks like.
Yeah.
Look and see if those, okay. Yeah, it was so interesting because when I did an hour ago and it said March 12th, and then live on the show it said March 16th. But that's just ridiculous. We're talking about a month and a half, until you can even start the process to legally carry a firearm.
Right. And they only go out to 3 months, so maybe it would open up more or something. But as I understand it, their technology there, theoretically, if those fill up, no permits for anybody. You know, or you just have to wait. You know, it's a lottery at this point.
Right.
You know, yeah. I don't know what they think they're doing, and it's just it's not reasonable.
Right. Well, thank you so much for breaking the story on our show. It's
hey, I appreciate it. I'm passionate about this. I appreciate you getting it out there.
All right. How did I do as a permit to carry instructor? Was I?
You did great. You did great. I only fell asleep. No, you did good. It was a good time. I would recommend, if you're interested in getting a carry permit, Jake's a good place to go. And he's gonna, he's concerned with this stuff, so
now,
get in his class.
Is it okay to mention how much better your wife was at shooting than you, or should I leave it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I was shooting fast. I was shooting a new.
I don't even remember. I was making.
You're not wrong. Yeah, no.
He was fun to have in class.
Yeah. No, it was a pleasure. Yeah, it's a good way to do it. Where do you go to find your class? Is it the CCA?
I don't have one scheduled, so I don't want to promote. I mean, you
Okay,
can go to
gotcha.
EliteGuardian.com or EliteGuardianMN.com, but there's not a class schedule right now. I haven't figured out my schedule here for a couple months, so it's a very part-time thing, as you know. It's
Yep.
just kind of a passion of mine to do firearms, and there's
Right.
a business I've started that I wanted to have that as a suite of things that I offer. So that's the reason.
Okay. Yeah. I saw it. I know this name from somewhere. We kind of put the two things together. Yeah. Like, well, we got to go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did great.
Well, I do have a
All right.
passion for firearms and teaching. So there you go.
Yep.
Well, awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks, Dustin. Appreciate you bringing the story here.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much, Jake. I do not know how to close this out, but I will. All right. Have a good one.
Take care. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll be live here with our post show for all our premium insiders. If you're not a premium insider, let me go ahead and give you the link here. If you're watching live, let's go premium insider. There you go, just like that. And that's big help to the show. Obviously, we want to remain independent. I don't want to have people. This will never be this way. I mean, we got Alpine Cabinetry in St. Cloud, Minnesota as a sponsor, and I would hope to think that I hope everyone believes that I can remain very independently minded when covering the news, even with a sponsor called Alpine Cabinetry, because I don't think I'm reporting on cabinetry, right? So it doesn't seem like it's controversial. Now, if I all of a sudden give you a ad read from Pfizer, then you start questioning it, right? So, this show also, generates revenue from views and stuff like that. So, but those are things that we don't control. The ads are done by Google or by Rumble, whatever the platform is. So quite frankly, this is a way to stay independent, providing you guys a news source that, I guess the way I approach this is I'm telling the truth, or what I believe to be the truth. I think that's where I could stand out from a lot of other people. There's so many people on both sides of the aisle, and I see this on the right, so it's not a left thing. They are out there saying propaganda, and propaganda I think propaganda has to be construed as a lie, right? I mean, otherwise you're just telling the truth. So propaganda is a lie. Well, I don't believe in telling lies. I could never be a press secretary for like a president. Like if Trump came, Jake, I need your voice. I'd be like, well, actually, what I'd probably say is, well, I'm going to tell people the truth, and I'd be fired the first day, because that job is just full of bullshit, right? And you got to tell lies, because you always got to paint like a good narrative. And I really do believe what we need to do is tell the truth. And the show's called The Truth Hurts, because sometimes telling that truth, it hurts. Like, hey, somebody on the right is doing the wrong thing, right? It's easy for somebody like me on the right to just say how bad the Democrats are, and talk about the radical left. And they are our problem, don't get me wrong. But there's more of a narrative. And so that's what we do here, and what's different. So join me on the post show here in 30 seconds. To everyone else, we'll see you on Thursday. Hopefully, I'm trying to put a good show together. Hopefully it works out. So you guys got some great content. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.